Brought you by.
We're here to build because at the end of the day, we're truly Ugandan.
It is a Thursday, the 10th day of February 2022. Hello there and welcome to News Tonight. First though, let's have a look at our top stories.
Brought to you by.
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
It's MV Pemba ferry that had been grounded for 18 years starts operations. HIV survey reveals a decline of 0.5% prevalence rate. AIGP Akulo hands over office, leaving 68 cases under investigation. And Makerere University hosts East Africa training workshop for sports executives.
Was brought to you by. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. My name is Rukidi Edward Kiijanangoma. Now the Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja, has recommissioned the rehabilitated MV Pamba, which had docked at Port Bell, Luzira for nearly 18 years. The vessel will be operated by Mango Tree Group Limited with oversight by Uganda Railways Corporation under supervision of the Ministry of Works and Transport. We have this story.
Since being grounded in 2005 for lacking international maritime standards, MV Pamba underwent rehabilitation and is now back on the waters.
The rehabilitation of MV Pamba is estimated to have cost Mango Tree Group Limited 28.6 billion Ugandan shillings, with the capacity to carry 22 wagons worth 10,000 tons of cargo. The recommissioned vessel will be plying across Port Bell, Jinja Port, Port Mwanza and Port Kisumu, doing an average of 12 voyages per month.
Water transport is one of the cheapest and safest mode of transport, but which we have not fully exploited. Our Lake Victoria is just here for us. It's there. Fresh waters, God gave us, but we are not yet fully utilizing its potential.
On 18th May 2020, a memorandum of understanding was signed between government and Mango Tree Group Limited to carry out rehabilitation, upgrade, class insure and commission the vessel at its own cost.
We are looking forward to working with the Ugandan government in investing more on transport for the benefit of the people around the Lake Victoria Basin.
As the ministry builds an efficient transport sector, Ugandans need to safeguard all established infrastructure.
A lot of money has been invested. You have heard the MD talking about how much money has been invested, how much money has been borrowed. Please stop the irresponsible acts of vandalizing these facilities.
The business community is optimistic on using the cheaper water transport tariffs that will apply to the vessel.
Even if we are thinking about adding value in a country, but to export 10 million bags of coffee, just as an example, there is no way we can cope without Uganda Railways Corporation and without utilizing these vessels.
We in private sector, when the infrastructure is right, then it leaves us in the business community to use that infrastructure to create more jobs, to make more money, and to make our country very habitable.
MV Pamba is a vessel owned by government and operated by URC on Lake Victoria. Through the MOU, Mango Tree Group Limited was licensed to run its operations till it recovers all its costs. Wadulo Makanold, UBC News, in Port Bell, Luzira.
And some rather good news in as far as HIV/AIDS is concerned, where Uganda has registered a decline in HIV/AIDS prevalence rate from 6.0 in 2016 to 5.5 in 2022. Now, the reduction in HIV/AIDS prevalence is attributed to the safe male circumcision and uptake in taking medication. Minister for Health, Dr. Ruth Acheng, released the survey report at Uganda Media Center here in Kampala.
The Uganda population-based HIV impact survey was carried out from 2020 to 2021, 5 years after the previous one was conducted in 2016. The survey that was carried out in 11,130 households had a sample size of 15,801 women and 11,834 men aged 15 years and older across all the districts of Uganda. The survey shows a decline of 0.5% from the previous survey that was last conducted in 2016, that was 6.0%.
In the entire UFIA 2020 survey, samples of adults aged 15 years and older, HIV prevalence was 5.8%, 7.2 among women and 4.3 among men, corresponding to approximately 1.3 million adults living with HIV in Uganda. The prevalence of HIV in adults 15 years and above was higher in urban areas at 7.1% than in rural areas at 5.2%.
Because as you know, in the past we were having rising HIV prevalence in the early 80s, in the early 90s, around 90s, and in 2000, when we stagnated around between 6 and 6.5%. We shot up a little bit in 2004, 7.3%, came back down in 2016 to 6%, and now you can see 5.5%, which is indicating that the number, the HIV prevalence, is actually not shooting out of range as it was doing in the earlier years. And this is expected because we have, as a program, as a country, succeeded in identifying a significant number of the HIV positive individuals and put them on treatment.
The survey further indicates that HIV remains high among women compared to men. The prevalence among women is 7.1, while among men is 3.8%.
Among men, HIV prevalence was highest in the 45 to 49 year age group at 11.1%, and among women, HIV prevalence was highest in the 50 to 54 year age group at 13.6%. The survey reported continued higher HIV prevalence in young women than in young men. The HIV prevalence among young people aged 15 to 24 years was 1.8%.
Greater Masaka remains the highest sub-region with the HIV prevalence at 8.1%. Acholi and Lango sub-region registered the second highest HIV prevalence at 7.6%. Chigezi sub-region is the third highest in HIV prevalence at 6.3%. Greater Luero is the fourth at 6.2%, Kampala at 6.0%, Bunyoro at 5.5%, Busoga at 4.5%, Teso sub-region at 4.2%. Bugisu sub-region 4.2%. West Nile sub-region registered 2.8%, while Karamoja 2.1%, the lowest in the survey. The reduction in HIV/AIDS prevalence is attributed to the number of factors, including safe male circumcision and uptake in taking medication.
That circumcision is a very important intervention in HIV prevention among men. We have clear data which came through other sources. In Uganda here, there was a randomized control trial in Rakai, which was done by a team from the Rakai Health Sciences Program. There was another study in Kenya, in Western Kenya, and another one in the Orange Farm in South Africa, which demonstrated that circumcision protects young men from acquiring HIV to a level of up to 50 to 60%. So the data are strong, and based on that data, we are actually implementing this program. And as you can see, we're expanding. And we know that, yes, there are some geographical areas where there may be discrepancy between the coverage of circumcision and the HIV incidence and also HIV prevalence and other outcomes. But there could also be other protective factors in those regions. So it's not a single factor. It is a combination of different HIV prevention, HIV care and treatment interventions that will give you the total picture of the impact both in terms of HIV incidence and HIV prevalence, rather than one single factor, whether it is circumcision or other intervention that we may want to talk about. So,
the survey, financed by the US government, is done every 5 years to assess the impact of HIV on the communities and helps policymakers in planning.
With regard to U.S. investment in partnership with Uganda, as I mentioned, since 2003, we've invested over $4 billion in PEPFAR. And as we look at our other activities, in 2020, the sum total of U.S. investment in Uganda was $953 million.
Philip Aguta, UBC News.
Assistant Inspector General of Police Grace Akulo has handed over Office of the Director of Criminal Investigations to the new Director, Major Tom Magambo, with a backlog of 68 cases. AIGP Akulo Grace says though the Office of the CID has challenges, she was able to accomplish some investigations, as we hear in this story.
10 years of AIGP Grace Akulo at the helm of Criminal Investigations Directorate, a lot has been achieved. At least 31 high-profile cases, including murder, aggravated robbery, homicide, defilement, gender domestic-based violence, among others, have been handled.
Of which were actually committed in 2018.
Concluded cases include murder of Sheikh in Kampala Metropolitan between 2012 to 2015. Sheikh Abubakar Kiwewa Ibrahim Kiria was shot in 2012, and Sheikh Mustafa Bahiga was killed in 2015. These were investigated and culprits charged to conclusion.
Jamil Mukulu and 37 others before High Court. Pending trial, the case is on pre-trial stage. Disclosure was already made, and they were charged with the murder, terrorism, aggravated robbery, attempted murder, and belonging to ADF, a terrorist organization.
The 2019 murders in Greater Massacre are among major cases investigated to conclusion by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations.
Dismantled organized criminal groups who are attacking investors. In 2018-2019, they are no more.
Other cases Akulo has successfully investigated are the pension scandal, opium scandal, and UBC scandal. During AIGP Grace Akulo's tenure, the Directorate expanded with 5,292 detectives.
We can have sleepless night to dismantle the criminal syndicates.
In the meantime, there were cases that were not conclusively investigated.
Suspects are yet to be identified. 026 of 2015, murder of Joan Namazi Kagezi. A lot has been done in murder of Honorable Ibrahim Abriga and Private Kogbo Saidi. A lot has been done in the...
At the time of handover office to Major Tom Magambo, AIGP Grace Akulo has left a backlog of 68 files.
68 cases which are pending. High Court to fix time and tell us, and that is the procedure. That one happens not because of their inefficiency, but because of lack of judicial officers.
AIGP Grace Akulo has handed over to successor Major Tom Magambo at the CID headquarters Kibuli. They toured the offices before conveying instruments of power. AIGP Major General Jackson Bakasumba, the Police Joint Chief of Staff, witnessed the occasion of exchanging guns.
The Chief of Joint Staff.
Major Tomu Magambo is the new director of the criminal investigations and has been serving as analysis director at the Internal Security Organization ISO. Abdul Nasili Lubwama, UBC News.
It's coming to 17 minutes after 8 in the studios of UBC TV. We'll now take a very short break. We'll be returning with what's happening in the world of business. Thanks for being with us and stay tuned.
Brought to you by...
We're here to build because at the end of the day, we're truly Ugandan.
Your MBs are now bigger MBs only on MTN. When you load a daily bundle of 250 shillings, you no longer get 15 MBs, you get 25 MBs. For 500 shillings, you no longer get 40 MBs, you get 65 MBs. For 1,000 shillings, it's no longer 100 MBs, it's 165 MBs. Dial *150*10# or use the My MTN app to load bigger daily bundles only on MTN.
It's time to teach. Schools are open. In these days of COVID-19, teachers are not only giving knowledge, but protecting themselves and their students from the virus. As a teacher, you must ensure that students follow the set SOPs of always maintaining a distance of 2 meters from others in classrooms, dormitories, entertainment halls, school vans and playgrounds, wearing a washed and clean mask every day that covers their mouths and noses, and regularly washing their hands with soap and water. In addition to that, you must counsel students about stigma related to COVID-19 and discourage them from violence. Any violence against students from classmates, teachers or parents should be reported immediately to a school administrator or senior woman or man teacher for correction and further guidance. Ensuring everyone's safety is key, so make sure students are out of class by the official closing time. Let's share knowledge, not COVID-19. This message is supported by the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education and Sports, and UNICEF. Stay safe.
Transact and win money after money with Airtel Money. 1.5 billion shillings in cash prizes up for grabs. The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Raising voices.
Like other fathers across Uganda, I'm standing up to say no to violence against children. I commit to give my children a violence-free childhood. As fathers, we can make Uganda safer for our children. I promise to speak out when I see violence.
In this time of COVID, what is your promise to the children of Uganda?
Because a violence-free childhood is everyone's right. Raising voices.
Start the year off with my Airtel 4G smartphone. You get to enjoy free 1 GB data valid for a month and 100% bonus data every month for 3 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. This includes free data spread over 3 months worth 86,500 Uganda shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 Uganda shillings only. Visit the nearest Airtel shop and get one today. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Our Ugandan story isn't a new one. It's not about where we come from. It's about what can be accomplished when we're working, living, and growing together. It's about speaking the same language, the language of progress. We're Ugandans building Uganda with Ugandans, skilling Ugandans and developing competencies required in the oil and gas sector, partnering with Ugandan businesses to achieve greatness. We're here to build because at the end of the day, we're truly Ugandan.
Start your day bright and early with good morning bundles from Airtel. That's right. Enjoy brighter days with 2 GB at 5,000 shillings, valid for 24 hours. Join that morning agent meeting. Close that online business deal. Catch up with loved ones. Do it all with the most affordable data bundles. Dial *175# to buy good morning bundles from 12 a.m. to 11:59 a.m. and enjoy 2 GB, valid for 24 hours from time of purchase. Good morning bundles for the best day ahead with Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Baganda call it munene munene. The Banyankole muhango. The actually date don't date. The Bagishu humobafubafu. It means king size freshness for all. Movit Family Soap is giving you a fresh start for your family. This soap is indeed so big. Tagwerera muwangazi ate it has a great kawowo. Unaba, no naba, kare no nabi dala. Available in coconut, aloe vera, lemon, and rose. Find the king size Movit Family Soap in all Dukas, next supermarkets close to you. Movit all day confidence.
Your MBs are now bigger MBs only on MTN. When you load a daily band of 250 shillings, you no longer get 15 MBs, you get 25 MBs. For 500 shillings, you no longer get 40 MBs, you get 65 MBs. For 1,000 shillings, it's no longer 100 MBs, it's 165 MBs. Dial *150*10# or use the My MTN app to load bigger daily bundles only on MTN.
Our Ugandan story isn't a new one. It's not about where we come from. It's about what can be accomplished when we're working, living, and growing together. It's about speaking the same language, the language of progress. We're Ugandans building Uganda with Ugandans, skilling Ugandans and developing competencies required in the oil and gas sector, partnering with Ugandan businesses to achieve greatness. We're here to build because at the end of the day, we're truly Ugandan.
Welcome back from that short break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Let's have a look now at what's happening in the world of business. The National Organization of Trade Unions has addressed the issue of decent work for persons leaving the country for employment abroad. NOTU Secretary Wereke Peter Christopher says there is need for labor attaches in different countries to monitor the working conditions of Ugandans. Sudat Kaye reports.
National Organization of Trade Unions has recommended labor attaches in different countries to minimize traffickers and create order.
What is lacking mainly is follow-up. Those who have gone to Oman, though Oman we have not yet have a contract with them, but like Saudi Arabia, like these other countries, what we need now is the other side. Where are you going? What are you going to do? When are you coming back? What job are you going to do? Because there's a lot of information which we are now receiving. When you go to social media, the whole thing is terrible.
This follows increasing cases of human trafficking for Ugandans seeking employment abroad. National Organization of Trade Unions will work with the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development and will be affiliated to international labour organizations.
And I can assure you that it's a beginning. If you don't make a first step, then if you wait for 20 attaches, then what happens with these people are going every day? We are saying step one, send one. But also here, opening up. And then we see how the journey goes. When it comes to the government, there's a monitoring team which is now supposed to be stepped up to move every 6 months. We want to be part of that committee so that we are able to give feedback.
Meanwhile, NOTU has engaged migrant workers and helped them form an association.
We wanted to use them in the sensitization of the communities, in the sensitization of the country, so that people can understand on the whole issue of labor migration.
Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Minister for General Duties Justin Kasule Lumumba has directed Nakaseke District Police Commander to take action against 3 Nakaseke district officials for allegedly misappropriating funds meant for implementation of government projects for the last financial year. Now, this vice was unearthed at the local accountability meeting held by the Office of the Prime Minister in Nakaseke District.
A statement to police in Jagala. About health, yes, God make a statement. DPC, these people must come and make statements, and we are going to investigate. Kubanga, bara disi na oba investigating bakolo gwabo. Ka omukolo gwamu naffe katukolo gwaffe. Abantu b'amazzi, district engineer, district water officer, mugende mukole statement ku police. Essomero lya Kalagala lye bagambye wansi waayatika ne batugamba enzigi zivaamu. Naye mwe mujja wano kuwaza anti tukyalina sente eza liability period. Does that compromise quality? Ekyo kituusa omutindo gwe mulina okuzimbirako ekizimbe emiliyoni 6. Aleze ndi musomesa buli lwampa ekipapula mbisigala wano mu mutwe kati seetaaga kuddayo eri bisoma newe munambuuza enkya figures zammwe nja kuba nzijjukira. District water officer ne mugamba nti buli naikonta mugenda ne mugirongoosa yonna, so it's a standard figure. Muwe muse olwaleero ne babagamba nti ne bye mugamba bye mukola tebiriiyo. Tegereganya bibikwano.
Sports news now, and the Association of Uganda University Sports is hosting a high-level East Africa training workshop for National University Sports Federation executives. The theme of the workshop is the core of good governance in sports organizations.
Ferry University in Kampala, the Uganda capital, is hosting a 2-day East Africa training workshop for university sports executives.
Today's workshop is aimed at training the National University Sports Federation executives to improve our work as we promote university sports in Eastern Africa. We hope we could do good governance, improve our leadership, PR, among others.
The theme, which is the core of good governance in sports organization, dictates that finance management in sport is a key topic for discussion.
Those various funders, they are looking at specific areas in funding proposals, and also knowing that globally there are millions of other stakeholders who are vying for the same funds. So if the members here, they are to write winning proposals They must be professional in their approach, but also in the way they make their budgets. They should make the budgets that are appealing.
Membership development in sports organizations, communication and public relations, and reinforcing a good corporate governance and ethical behaviors were also discussed.
One of the key areas is that we need to professionalize sport. It's very important that sport is professionalized. We need to run according to our rules and constitutions. Sports is about rules, the constitution, the charter, ethical behavior. We need to have monitoring and evaluation. We need to have the necessary institutional frameworks like ethics commissions. We need to have disciplinary committees, questions around having a strategic plan, monitoring and evaluation, and being able to embrace new technology in order to be able to work in this 21st century where governance and ethical behavior is very critical.
The workshop attracted participants from the neighborhood that appreciated its relevance.
It's adding a lot of value because we've been doing things from a position whereby they've been done before. But now things are changing. We are getting the kids are very dynamic. And I think we need to upgrade our way of looking at things, our way of doing things, so we're able to give some better delivery of service to our students.
The workshop that ends on Friday starts the process that returns sport to universities post-COVID-19 lockdown. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
We've almost come to the end of this first edition of News Tonight, but let's have a quick reminder of our top stories.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Stories tonight. MV Pamba ferry that had been grounded for 18 years starts operations. HIV survey reveals a decline of 0.5% prevalence rate. AIGP Akulo hands over office, leaving 68 cases under investigation. And in sports, Makerere University hosts East Africa Training Workshop for sports executives.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
And that brings us to the end of this first edition of News Tonight. We'll be back later on at 10 p.m. My name is Edward Kiijanangoma. See you then.
Brought to you by
We're here to build because at the end of the day, we're truly Ugandan.
This week on UBC.
Annually, 600,000 people die globally from this infection.
When I have hepatitis B in this room, there is 100 times